Hey everybody, I'm Tama Shevek and welcome to Teacher Talk, the talk show for teachers and people with too much free time. So, last week we discussed the importance of physical education. We're going to move on and talk about the impact of fetal alcohol syndrome in the school system. We have brought in 3 experts on the subject area who are excited to share their knowledge with all of you. So let's bring them out. Our first guest of the day is Dr. Stephanie Lamb. Stephanie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So, many of our listeners may have heard of fetal alcohol syndrome, but don't know the specifics. So please, tell us the facts. What is fetal alcohol syndrome?
Fetal alcohol syndrome is a birth defect syndrome that affects about 40,000 infants each year.
What?
Yeah, in fact, up to 1 in 20 U.S. school children may have some form of a fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. However, an exact number cannot be presented as alcohol-related disabilities are frequently misdiagnosed and undiagnosed.
So, you say that fetal alcohol syndrome was a birth defect. What causes it? And are there physical characteristics we must look out for?
It has been researched that alcohol use during pregnancy is the leading cause of developmental disabilities and birth defects in the United States. As professionals, it is important to recognize the following physical characteristics: a small head, low nasal bridge, small eye openings, short nose, thin upper lip, underdeveloped jaw, smooth philtrum, flat midface, epicanthal folds.
Are there any other difficulties that children with this disorder may have to overcome?
Yes, absolutely. People with fetal alcohol syndrome may experience below average height and weight. They may also have central nervous system abnormalities and deformities in their joints, limbs, and fingers. These people may also experience slower physical growth, have vision difficulties or hearing problems, have a smaller brain size, have heart defects, and can experience problems with kidneys and bones.
Thank you, Dr. Lamb. We're going to take a break, and when we return, Dr. Kellen Kojanek will be stopping by to talk to us about the impact of fetal alcohol syndrome. Now it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy this short public service announcement.
Recognizing fetal alcohol spectrum disorders can be difficult. It is known that early and accurate identification is key to receiving appropriate educational and mental support.
Fetal alcohol syndrome is just one fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. Others may be more difficult to distinguish, particularly when the mother's exposure to alcohol is unknown.
And we're back with Teacher Talk. Our next guest is a spunky dude that goes by the name of Dr. Kellen Kojanek, and he's going to tell us about the impact that FASDs have on people who have them. Give him a hand.
Thanks, Large Hand, and thank you for having me.
The pleasure is all ours, Dr. K. Now, you're here to explain to us the impact of FASDs. What kind of effects do they have on the minds of the people who have this disorder?
People with FASDs have been known to have poor memories and slower reaction times. They have an inability to stay attentive. Planning for future tasks can be difficult for them, as well as focusing their attention, especially when they have to switch between tasks.
Wow, so what effects do they have on their abilities to socialize?
Well, they often struggle to make attachments and connect emotionally. Their increase in behavioral issues is a result of their inability to make connections. They have also been known to be hyperactive, impulsive, and can be prone to mood swings, and also has developed depression and anxiety.
Okay, so surely this has an impact on their day-to-day functioning as well. Can you tell us more about that, Dr. K?
Sure. Due to the physical deformities that come with FASDs, they can have difficulties with coordination. Some individuals have even been known to have sight or hearing disabilities. Below average height and weight has also been seen, and people with FASDs can also develop eating disorders.
Okay, wow. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, Dr. K. I can definitely see how this could really affect our students. Thankfully, our next guest speaker is going to come out and explain to us some of the considerations that teachers should have when teaching children with FASDs. Again, please join me in giving Dr. K a hand. Now, hold on tight to your seats because every teacher's favorite part of the show is happening right now. Are you tired of petty gifts like apples? Well, we have a deal for you. Slightly used minivans for everyone. You get a minivan and you get a minivan and you need a minivan. We all be rolling up to school in minivans. Team up! Team up! Whew, that was great of me. Now, we are heading to the final segment of our show with guest speaker Dr. Jordan Van Roy, who is going to talk to us about what educators can do to improve the learning opportunities for students with fetal alcohol syndrome. Hello, Dr. J.
Hello, and thanks for having me. You have an extra minivan for me, right?
Sure don't. Okay, moving on. So, before digging deeper into the strategies, let's talk about the controversial issues surrounding the topic.
Yes, it is important to know that the boundaries of this diagnosis, as well as the markers that should be used to describe these boundaries, are highly debated topics. While FAS has been associated with very heavy drinking in pregnancy, it does not occur in all babies born to alcoholic women. The label FAS does not tell us everything about the cause of this condition, and we are continuously learning more information about this disorder.
Well, when it comes to the classroom, how should teachers make sure that their instruction is given in a way for students with FAS to understand?
Directions should be clear, concise, simple, and given one step at a time. It is extremely important to have the student's attention before giving instructions. Remember that students with fetal alcohol syndrome are very visual, and the use of pictures will help them retain information better.
That is super interesting. So what would be the best way for you to arrange the classroom for students with FAS? We want to make sure to keep them meaningfully involved.
Exactly. A strategy that teachers can use is seating the student near the teacher's desk or an area where most instruction is presented, yet not exclusive of the regular class setting. It is also necessary to provide an area that can be used when students become overstimulated. Posters and visuals sometimes cause a child with FAS to become overly stimulated and restless.
Okay, so one of our other guests mentioned that students with FASD struggle with transitioning between tasks. Do you have any insights on how to help students with these struggles?
A very helpful tactic that teachers can implement is to cue when an activity is to be ended. Closure is very important for a student with FAS. Some other examples might include using a timer, touching the student on the shoulder, or using flashcards to signal the remaining minutes left. Whatever tactic you use, note that the routine should be consistently followed each day.
Thank you for imparting us with all your wisdom, Dr. J. Well, that's all we have on the show tonight, viewers. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, in the words of Robert M. Hensel, there is no greater disability in society than the inability to see a person as more. We'll see you tomorrow.